Unlike many video doorbells, this doorbell does not have built-in Wi-Fi, nor a built-in battery, which actually means you can have 24/7 recording. It has super smooth playback and two-way audio that actually works. The doorbell itself is $100, which is very good, but it's still not a doorbell for everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Bogdan Shperny, founder of Apex One IT. We do networking and security. And before you spend thousands of dollars deploying a security system, you can have me review your design or design a complete UniFi Protect system for you. Link is in the video description. In this video, I'll give you a complete overview of the doorbell. I'll show you what the daytime footage looks like, what it looks like with packages, because it does have only one camera. We'll add a Wi-Fi chime. I'll show you some advanced settings, line crossings, motion zones, notifications, and finally some nighttime footage. The doorbell itself has this kind of traditional style, what I would call rectangular. So there's circular ones and there's rectangular doorbells. Except what you might not perceive online when you're looking at this product is that's about, I don't know, like 4 times larger than actual traditional doorbell, right? Like this button will actually be smaller. So the height here is 4.4 inches, 1.6 inches width, and about an inch depth without this angle mount that I have. But the good thing about this size, I would say, is that you have this kind of knurled matte white, in this case, very large button that is definitely hard to miss, right? I can place all 4 of my fingers on there if I need to. And the rest of the doorbell has, the classic UniFi white. The black one, of course, will be black. It's just that the white one, you can see the camera a little bit more obviously, and the black strip where the IR emitters are. And in comparison, here is a traditional classic, doorbell. This is the circular one. If there's a kind of vertical rectangular button, it would be something like that, 1/3 the size of that. But in a good way. Again, I think no one will miss this doorbell and they will actually use it, which I know a lot of carriers or just people arriving just don't understand sometimes when a doorbell looks too techy. They're not sure what that is or where to, place their finger. It is rated IPX5, so no dust protection or no rating for that. And the 5 means that it's low pressure water, so rain should be totally fine. You just don't want to get like a pressure washer. If you're washing your house, you want to remove this. So there is a built-in light at the bottom. It's kind of like a kind of spotlight. So when someone presses the doorbell, it will light up. Now, if you go to the doorbell settings, it does have 4 built-in tones. So this is the first one here, kind of traditional doorbell sound. If you scroll down to visitor tone, you can adjust the volume. So this is at 30%. At 100%, I mean, you can hear like 30 feet away from the doorbell. So 30% seems to be more than enough unless you're in a noisy environment. And you can set how many times you want this to repeat as well. 1 time makes sense to me. So here you can choose all the other tones as well. Same thing that the chime will have. So select the default tone. Click the blue check mark. Let's put the volume at 50%. And then express line. What's actually neat is you can go in here and add your own ringtone. So I can record it as well. Hi, who's there? So let's save that custom ringtone. Hi, who's there? Right, so for your own custom recording, you probably want to record it pretty loud and also turn up the volume if you need to. Now in the web version for UniFi Protect, you don't have to, record something here. You can actually upload a file, like some kind of custom tone if you wanted to do that. Along with the lights, there is also this strip right here where the speaker is. And it actually works quite well. I mean, I can go all the way back to like the driveway and you'll actually hear me speaking from that tiny speaker down there. And along with the speaker, there's a microphone on top, which is what enables us to do two-way audio. Here's what that sounds like.
3 times 3, 9.
That is 10 times 10.
100.
Okay, I believe you. You can come in then. I'm in the studio now. Let's take a look at what the image actually looks like out of this, essentially, security camera that we have up front. So it is a vertical aspect ratio. And what I'm trying to represent here is I'm bringing a package. Let's say it's kind of a tall package, right? Like a 1 foot tall box. But you can see in this, because of this vertical aspect ratio, it's like 384, 5 megapixels. So roughly, it's like taking a 2K image, turning it at 90 degrees. So the field of view here is vertically is 130 degrees, which is quite wide. So you can see even when I place this package right up at the front door, and this porch is about 5 feet deep, you can still see most of the package. And if you look at, what this view looks like, it's most likely, well, it's two things going on here. It's that vertical 130 degree field of view, which is really helping out. And the fact that I did not install this doorbell right next to the door, but to the side, and therefore I'm actually able to capture more of that ground near the door. And looking back at this, I wish I even lowered the doorbell just, 6 inches lower, because it will capture the ground even more, because this does only have that one camera. It doesn't have a dedicated package camera. So you can see when I put a package right under the doorbell, it's gone, right? I wouldn't know. If I just looked at the feed, I wouldn't know. It would be great if Ubiquiti in the future can add, at least for this particular doorbell, some kind of recognition. There we have people, faces, persons. If they have some kind of recognition of packages just staying there, I think that would be a great addition to this doorbell. Let me show you one more clip here, just walking up to the doorbell. It does have a smaller sensor than, if you're familiar with UniFi security cameras, the 2K ones, with the 2K resolution, like the G5 Turret Ultra, for example. That has a 1/2.4 inch sensor. The one at the doorbell is slightly smaller. It's 1/2.7 inch. Okay, so which you can judge here for yourself, what it looks like. I think it's decent, especially the fact that a doorbell is not made to cover, be a security camera for your entire front porch, but just really the entry portion when someone comes up to the door. If I rewind back, I skipped this, but right there where I'm walking, that's about 23 feet from the doorbell itself. So at that point, it already picked it up that it's a person, and that's right now this doorbell is set to record on specific kind of AI detection motion events, just like a person. So that's when it started recording this, and a little bit earlier. So it captured me the whole time walking up. And you'll see at nighttime, the light will actually light up, but in this case, the light on the doorbell lights up when you press the doorbell. Okay, if I rewind back one more time, just to show you that this is, I think, a common problem with video doorbells, is that it has an overhang. It's usually, somewhere that's darker and the background is bright like it is here. It's kind of partly cloudy. And the camera's doing its best job to kind of adjust for the fact that when I come into the foreground, closer in, see my face, things kind of get dark because the background is so bright. That's where that HDR setting comes in. So if it gets too dark for you, or you kind of can't see what's actually going on, you might want to just turn that up. And of course, what's really nice about the UniFi system is not just, doorbell events that we get like this, but you can filter by, let's say, speaking events they picked up specifically, or animals, cars, persons. So whether or not someone actually clicked the door, it can be here, as well as line crossings. Now, to be clear, because this doorbell is PoE powered, it does not connect with your kind of low voltage wires back to a transformer, to a chime that you might already have that worked with your traditional doorbell. You'll need something like this, which is a UniFi Chime. And this is a PoE powered, as you can see the port there. So we'll need to connect it back to a network switch that has PoE, or a PoE adapter. Or instead, just use a Wi-Fi chime from UniFi as well that just goes into your outlet. You select the Wi-Fi, name, put the password in, and several seconds it'll be up in your UniFi Protect system. You just need to add it the same way you add the doorbell. And I understand some people might not like that. There's other doorbells where they do go into your traditional doorbell chime. But I actually prefer this method where you have a smart chime, something like this, because I can control actually whether or not, or what times of day, if I'm home or not, things like that, or whoever's home, when this chime actually goes off. And I can have more than one in different areas of the house. I'm not constrained to one location. So I like that flexibility, but it does take a little bit more. It takes another device like this to set up. But you do have a lot of flexibility with it. So it will have all the different doorbell tones or chime sounds, just like the doorbell has itself. You can make it match, change it, change the volume, and you can even go in there and set your own tone. So you can go into the smartphone, record your own recording if you would like to. And you can use that later for different notifications, not just for doorbell rings. So you can use that with the Chime. You can upload your own audio as well if you don't like what comes on there. Okay, let's jump into some important settings for the doorbell. So just click on the doorbell, and if we go to, let's go recording settings first. And here's the benefits of PoE. Well, A, it can always record, always meaning it can always be triggered depending on your recording mode. So now I have it on adaptive, which kind of has the benefits of recording everything but not taking up as much storage when there are no events. You can do events only, meaning these AI events or motion events, or continuous. Now I can't do continuous in this case because I don't have a micro SD card or any storage essentially installed on my UniFi Protect NVR in this example. But this is the benefit of PoE, is you can have continuous, meaning 24/7, and it really serves as a true security camera, at least for your front door there, no matter if there are any events or not. But you do want to make sure you turn on record AI events, and this has all the possible detections enabled here. And same thing for audio detections. I'll recommend not recording motion events. This is just kind of any motion, because you'll get a lot of detections that are just kind of wasteful when you're trying to actually find something. Frames per second is on auto. You can go up to 24 frames per second, but I would leave everything on auto except encoding. You could change this to enhanced. If you're going to have issues, just change it back to standard if you're going to have playback issues. 2K time, and this is what kind of information it shows on the camera recording. Okay, now if we go to zones and lines, this is very useful to optimize. So we have motion zones, which we're not even recording for, so this doesn't matter. But then we have smart zones and we have crossing lines. Also privacy blackout. Okay, so you can literally block something out. It won't be recording there at all. Okay, I don't need that here. But let me show you some smart zones. So it'll have one by default, but I modify things because, for example, so I changed to this detection. It used to be on everything, but I changed it just to animals, medium sensitivity, which is the default. And the resident at this house basically just only cares if animals come up kind of on their lawn close up here. It doesn't care if animals are out there, right? Or even on the driveway. So that's why I modify, and you can easily modify and add additional points, remove points, and make your zone if you want to be detected for that. So you make your zone, you save it, and you can add additional, let's say here for vehicles, you can optimize this where I only want, the vehicles up close. And sometimes you have to reduce sensitivity if it's giving you too many false positives. Then line crossing. So I did add some here already, which essentially means here if a person crosses this line, then there will be is going to be counting that, and I can use that for notifications. So whether or not they actually ring the doorbell, I can still be notified as though they, ring the doorbell. And this is where a smart chime comes in, right? Your traditional chime can't do that. So that's what's nice about these line crossings as well. Okay, now the rest of the settings. So you can rename, you can disable the microphone here. Noise reduction, so if you're in a high traffic area and it's hard to understand, that's what you want to do. Sometimes it's a little bit finicky, so just test it out before you use that. And right here, that's that HDR setting where you could increase it to higher if you really have a dark porch and it's hard to make out the face. That's what you want to enable. Night vision, auto, you can customize it when night vision turns on, when those IR emitters go off. And in advanced settings, you can modify the image even more. This is where you can, and I showed you this earlier, but you can modify the default tones. Okay, these are custom ones. So you can modify the ring volume, number of times, and the speaker volume as well. Then if you jump down to the chime, this is where you can add additional UniFi chimes and modify the sound settings for that. So if you have a chime like this, by default, without modifying anything, you will hear the doorbell ring on the chime. But if you want more control or over notifications, you want to go down to Alarm Manager here. And you should see a alarm or notification called Ring, which is this one right here, okay? So if I click on this, we can edit the alarm. This gives you a summary here first, what happens, but let's click Edit Alarm. Now this is the trigger. So what's the trigger? It's an activity type. it's a ring, so it means someone's ringing a doorbell, and then it's set to always occur. The scope is which cameras or doorbells are included. So right now we're saying only this doorbell light. If someone rings the doorbell here, then this notification proceeds. Now the action out of it is a notification. We get notified. So like either an email or smartphone notification with the UniFi Protect app. You can select different people if you have other users, but I will get notified with the default content. I can repeat or ignore repeated actions. So maybe if someone rings the doorbell, multiple times within 1 minute, it won't notify me again. And I can test that here, but let me show you what it actually looks like.
You want to opt in?
Yes.
Okay, so that's just the default, but this gets a little bit, a lot more advanced things you can do here. So for example, I have a animal alarm. Okay, this was made for the residents. So let's say I'm selecting what's the trigger object. It's an animal when just during, kind of non-sleeping hours, I will call it. So if an animal is detected there, I want a sound to play with a audio file. That's the only thing I can select for this Chime. Okay, if I had other devices, there's other options, but with the UniFi Chime, this is what I can do. And I'm selecting a different sound. Okay, I could have a special recording just for animals, say record something like, there's an animal on the porch, right? Repeat once, ignore, repeat actions within 5 minutes, and then click save. So now, when there's an animal detected in that smart detection zone, the chime will go off with a certain tone to indicate for the resident there that there's an animal in there. Go out and chase it off your lawn, right? And I have the some other one here for mail delivered. So when someone comes up, they have a mailbox at the door, and there's a line crossing, so when someone drops mail in there, they can also be notified. A smartphone notification or the chime can go off. There's a lot more you can do here, but definitely go in here and check that out. Now, finally, let's look at the night footage. So here right now, there is no light whatsoever. This is just from the IR emitters on the doorbell itself. They are rated for 16 feet, and you will see me come in the left frame. I am recording with my iPhone, so there's some weird stuff flashing there. And you can see my shoes reflecting because there's some reflection. But right there where I pause, that's like 16 feet away. And you'll see that the doorbell, even before that, lights up. That's indicating that it already detected a person, so it's lighting up, kind of making it easier for them to find the doorbell. It doesn't really help much, I would say, with lighting up the person, but it definitely helps to find the doorbell if it's pitch black. Then when I press the doorbell, it'll light up again, because when it detects motion, at least as of now, with the version I'm running, it lights up that spotlight just for like a certain amount of seconds. So if I just keep wandering there and I don't press the doorbell, it'll actually just turn off. Okay, so now I'm walking out further away, and that's on that corner, 23 feet. There's a motion light there, which lit up, but you'll see in the video that the spotlight already turns on. It notices that there's a person walking up. Again, just making it easier to find it. So from really far away, so before I approach that mat, before the porch, that's like 7 feet. I'm pretty well lit. I probably would benefit when I'm standing right by the door. Probably benefit by possibly disabling the IR, actually. It's almost a bit too much. But in reality, this home has a porch light, like many homes do, which you should, enable or put on the schedule or some kind of automatically to turn on at night. That'll be most beneficial. But you can see with the porch light, and the doorbell, by the way, is reading like 10 lux luminance. So that's how dark this one is. It's a very yellow doorbell, and I think the doorbell is trying to correct for it. It's a lot more yellow than it seems. But when there is some light like this, you'll notice the doorbell kind of accent light is off until you press the doorbell, because you can already see the doorbell. Yeah, so definitely with some porch light, you'll get the best image for sure. The real question always is this doorbell for you or for your customer? And it comes down to a couple things. So if you want a doorbell that you can just install once and forget about it, this is a great doorbell for that, because you don't have batteries to change out or worry about, you're not worrying about Wi-Fi. And two, if you just want the smallest video doorbell, I don't think you'll find anything smaller than this, even though it's actually still larger than I would like it to be. I wish it was even smaller. But in either case, if you want the smallest, most discreet doorbell, especially I think in the black version, and if you have some nice black framing around the house, this one will be very discreet. And also, if you already have Ethernet running to your front door, like a lot of new builds, then it's easy. Easy choice. You can easily install this doorbell. You'll save a lot on the installation, right? And that's really to the final point that if the install of this will be really inexpensive for you, you have some kind of simple construction or you're doing it yourself, then this doorbell can also be worth it for you. And then kind of on the other side of that, if an installation of this doorbell, which really comes down to the cabling of this PoE, the Ethernet cable, I mean, if it's going to cost you 5-10x of this $100 doorbell, then it might not be worth it. Maybe not worth this particular doorbell, because if you're already paying that much for the install, for the cabling, you might as well put a more premium video doorbell. But again, that installation, it greatly depends on the construction of your house. You know, if you can put this like on a through wall that goes to your garage or something, I mean, that install will cost a lot less. And then secondly, if you need a dedicated camera, a package camera, right, that this doesn't have, it just has a speaker on the bottom and lights. If you need a dedicated package camera, this doesn't cut it. And also, if you want some of the more advanced detections that UniFi has on their cameras, like face recognition, then this camera also doesn't have that. For that, you'll want to look at the G6 entry. Now, these doorbells, here's the Pro and the Standard, they're quite a bit larger, and they're also, at least as of now, only available in black. But they will have face recognition, and they can also, like the Pro version for sure, with its 5K resolution camera, can serve as a true security camera for your entire porch. It can double as that, so as a doorbell and as a security camera. Then you just might want to wait for these doorbells. For sure, subscribe to the channel if you want to see when these come out. I think for me personally, I will be installing this G6 Pro entry at my own house. In either case, whichever doorbell you choose, I think you'll benefit from watching this video here, where I go through what it takes to install a PoE video doorbell, right? Whether it's this Doorbell Lite or the G6 entry that's upcoming. So you'll want to watch that. Until then, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching. Take care.